Hello, all. Welcome to another episode of AWS Show and Tell Generative AI Edition. And I'm your host, Anil Nanimiti. Joining along with me today is Rick Tadulkar, Julia, and Lana Zhang. So today we are here to chat about a lot of interesting items on Bedrock and Bedrock automation and how it could help with the with the tool sets and how to bring the tool sets to you and how we can actually bring the LLMs closer to the use cases that you're building, right? So with that said, Trevor, who's our other host, is he's actually going to be joining us a couple of minutes into the show. But with that, getting started, I'm again, Anil Nadiminti. I'm joining from Princeton, New Jersey today, and joining along with me, Rick. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Anil, for the invitation. Looking forward to this. My name is Rick. I'm joining you from California. I'm a AIML architect, and I'm leading the IDP in the generative AI space. Glad to be here, and we'll be exploring a lot of use cases. And super excited to show a demo through the console.
A lot of demos here today, right?
Absolutely, a lot of demos to show the power of BDA.
Yeah, and let us know, chat, where you're connecting from today. I know last time we saw people connecting from all over the world, and we saw people from India, Ghana, uh, Australia. I think different places. I don't know what the time zone is out there, but please let us know in the chat where you're connecting from. And Lana, how about you?
Hi, Anil. Hi, everyone. My name is Lana Zhang. I'm a senior solutions architect from AWS, focus on GenAI multimodal features, including Bedrock Data Automation. So today I will show you the demo for Bedrock automation for image and video modality. I'm
Thanks.
based in Toronto, Canada. We got a lot of snow in the past few weeks, but today is super warm. So I see people still start to wear short sleeves on the street, which is crazy. But glad to be here.
The weather is fluctuating everywhere, right? So it's like today it was I was in New York today, and I could I didn't have to wear a jacket, and I could just walk in the streets. And 2 days ago it was like freezing. So yeah, talk about that. Julia, where are you connecting from? And if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. This is Julia Hu. I'm a senior AIML specialist solutions architect from AWS. I've been with AWS for 4.5 years. So today I'm actually connecting from Houston, Texas. Currently I'm leading the intelligent speech analytics use case by using a new Bedrock feature called Bedrock Data Automation. So there are lots of upcoming industrial and intelligent speech analytics use case that can utilize and leverage this new feature.
Exciting, right? So we're talking about large language models being able to solve summarization use cases. We started with that, and then now we are looking at more advanced use cases, and looking at document processing, multimodal analysis of media content, and including speech content, right? So I think there's a lot going on here. So why don't we get started? Like, why don't we talk about BDA, right? So what is Bedrock Data Automation, and can we talk more on that? Is this a tool? Is this a service? Is this part of Bedrock family? I know, like, I'm asking on behalf of our users, but just give us an introduction about BDA.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to take a stab at it. So you can think of BDA as a fully managed capability within the Bedrock service. What it does for you, it simplifies the whole extraction of valuable insight from unstructured content. So when I say unstructured content, I mean documents, images, videos, and audio. We call it multimodal because it can take care of all this type of documents, images, videos, and audio. It leverages the generative AI capability. What it does is it basically transforms this multimodal documents into structured formats, right? Which enables developers and businesses to actually generate insight from it and solve the complex business workflows with a greater accuracy and speed. So, in a nutshell, that is what Bedrock Data Automation brings to the table as a capability under Bedrock.
Right. So we are talking about bringing in content and understanding the content, right? Intelligently understanding the content within structured, unstructured data
Mhm.
types. And when we talk about structured, unstructured, can you give us some more examples of what kind of documents these are, if it's documents.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So typically, let's take an example, and it's easy for understanding. So when you talk about, let's say, mortgage processing or loan processing, right? What we've seen is there's a variety of documents that is required. So you need the loan application form, which is typically a form, and then you have multiple documents that you have to produce and provide for successful application of your loan, which includes financial statements, which might include your pay stubs. It might even require identity documents to prove who you are. Then it could even expand it to other documents which are required for processing the loans. If you think about it, these individual documents are unstructured. They are in different formats, in different shapes, different orientation. So this is the complexity we are talking about. Now, if you get drilled down into the document space, you would see each of these documents have its own complexity. These are typically very dense, right? What I mean by that is these documents have a lot of text, it has tables, and usually we see tables overflowing from pages. We have graphs, we have other details which a financial statement typically would have, right? And these are the type of documents which you see in loan processing. This is one example. And you can expand now to various other use cases like insurance, like claims. You're talking about other document processing workflows. So this is the complexity that we're dealing with here.
Yeah, chat. So let us know, like all the viewers out there, like obviously you might be wondering, like how generative AI tools and use cases can help you. I think there are a bunch of them that Rick has mentioned here already. So let us know what kind of use case you are trying to explore, or where you would want to see it fit into your daily usage, right? So essentially, like even when we're talking about loan processing, mortgage processing, when you submit the documents, uh, tell us if if these things would actually help you and benefit you in a different way, or if you've been exploring any of these tools. Yeah. So let's keep going.
Mhm.
Right. I think
Yeah,
I lost my video, but please keep going. Yeah.
yeah. No, I just wanted to kind of talk about a little bit, and let me know if you're seeing any questions. Happy to answer those as well, right? So when you see the plethora of application of document processing, it's across industries, right? Be it financial services, be it healthcare, life sciences, be it public sector, right? Typically, I talked about loan processing, right? There are tax processing, there are accounts payable, there is financial statement. Uh, Uh, Maybe there was a glitch. Um, but again, then you expand that to healthcare, right? You talk about claim processing, patient enrollment, medical billing, even grievances and appeals, right? Document is everywhere. And when you talk about unstructured data, I was reading a survey by McKinsey. What they were looking at is, unstructured data is everywhere, right? It's in an IDC survey I saw, it was like 80% of data is unstructured in organizations. And it's very hard and complex to deal with this variety of data because it adds a lot of complexity in itself for processing. So, what BDA is doing is BDA is actually solving this problem on behalf of the customers to help streamline this processing and build and bring in that extracted insight which they can use to enable use cases.
Right. Right. So are we going to see some kind of a demo today? Like as we chat about this, are we going to go into some more content and explain on
Yeah,
how this works?
absolutely. Absolutely. So, let me do one thing. Let me try and share my screen.
Sure. So chat, let us know what kind of use cases you've been working on generative AI, and exploring, if it's even if it's not related to document processing or multimedia processing, keep the chat update on what you're doing out there. All right. So what are we looking at? This is
Um, Absolutely. So this is when you log into Bedrock, you would see data automation here. This is the Bedrock console. This is my AWS console. Let's start with the concept of projects. So as I mentioned, BDA offers simplified extraction, classification, normalization mechanisms. So what you start with is a project. Think of it as a high-level construct. Under the project, there are standard outputs. So these are predefined outputs that you can use as a template. So if you want to extract specific fields from those, you can use a standard output. It's predefined for you. Or else, if you have a specific business-based output that you need, you can use a custom output. So maybe let's start with the standard output here. So I have a test project I created. If you see in the standard output, you can define the granularity of the documents. So what do you want to extract? Do you want to extract a high-level page-level construct, or you want to get into the element level? What I mean by that is, let's say a page, within the page you have paragraphs, you can have multi-column data, you can have tables, you can have graphs. So these are all element level, right? And then what kind of format you're looking at. So you can specify whether you want to get a plain text, you want to get a text with markdown, and even there are options within the documents you can select and get the tables out of it. So let's say you have a document which has tables, you can get it as a separate CSV. The part that I wanted to really double click on, and I think it's very helpful who are working with the IDP use cases, they know how critical it is to actually find out where these elements exist within the document. So if I'm saying there is a table within a document, where exactly it is. What BDA does, BDA provides you with that bounding boxes of each elements. And that helps customer to exactly see where the elements are. Along with that, BDA provides a confidence score. This confidence score helps customer drive further workflow, right? They can see that with this much of confidence, BDA has provided the output. And then there is an option with the generative field. What we have seen typically is, customers use multiple API calls and in some cases LLMs to summarize. And these are all calls that are made separately. What BDA does, it simplifies that with one single API call. And it does all of this behind the scene.
Yeah, so if there's no BDA, right? So if somebody were to actually go through all of this processing and being able to identify the different elements, is that a lot of work, like to just start with the Python code and start from the scratch?
Well, while I run this generate results using the standard output, I'll answer this question. So typically when you look at an IDP workflow, it
Right.
starts with the data, right? So you have a variety of data, let's say 1,000-page document, right? As a loan package. Now what you do is you look at those documents, you understand the type, you try to categorize or classify it, what type of document they are. A loan processing file could have forms, it could have financial data, pay stubs. Then after the categorization, you go to extraction phase where you have to extract all this critical information that we're looking at, right? After that extraction, you typically go through a enhancement where you want to normalize the data that you have found as extracted output. So basically, let's say you want the date to be in particular format, you want to have a summarized view of the page, you want to understand what's within the table, right? These are all extra data. Then you want to normalize all this data before it can be consumed by your line of business systems. So you can imagine it's at least 3-4 phased approach to IDP. What BDA is offering, it's simplifying all of that using one single unified API call, so that you have an input and then you have an output. And then what you can do is you can drive several use cases using the output. And the output is generated based on what you're looking at, specific to your business. So as you can see, Anil, I've used a sample bank document, right? It provides you with a summary of the document. It clearly mentions what the document does. And then it gets into the page level construct. So here is the text with markdown where you can see that the document is from Capital One. It has detected multiple images within there, right? And then finally, it has elements within it, right? So it clearly says that, hey, with this much of confidence, I can say that this has the title of Capital One and this is the image of Capital One, right? And this is where we see a lot of customers who actually drive or work on solving IDP problems they need. Because understanding a model, generating a response versus understanding the confident it is with responding, it's critical to drive those business use cases. And that's the problem BDA solves.
So essentially, like when we give the document and being able to understand the attributes with confidence within
Yep.
the document and being able to then right now I know that we are displaying it, but we could use API ways to
Yes.
actually extract and then store it or do other processing around the documents, right?
Absolutely. And this is just the standard processing, right? We can actually go ahead and create custom blueprints as well, right? So let's say you have a very specific document. What you can do is you can actually decide on your class custom blueprint. So what you do is you have option to select from the sample blueprints. So we have 40 plus samples. Say, for
Hmm.
example, you have a birth certificate, payslip, Form W9, two identity documents, Canadian license document. So these are all predefined blueprints that you can use, or you can even go ahead and use a custom blueprint, right? What is this? Custom blueprint is where you want to get specific input from the document, right? Say, for example, I'll quickly try one. I have an invoice sample, right? What I can do is I can upload the invoice sample as a document. And then once I upload the document, I can actually ask BDA, hey, generate a blueprint for me. So it's the blueprint recommender. Based on the document type, it automatically creates a blueprint recommender for you. And then you can use that blueprint recommender to extract output out of it. You can also have the option to manually create a blueprint using JSON or using a tabular format that you will see in the screen. So these are additional options. Now, typically when you have a multiple document set, you will create a project. Project would have standard as well as a combination of custom outputs. And within that custom outputs, you can specify whether you want, this particular date field to look like this, or maybe the SSN, you want to remove the dash from within the SSN based on your business requirements. And you can have additional manipulation as well as extraction logic that you can add to the blueprint. And if you see based on the blueprint, it actually has, see here, it has actually recommended a blueprint based on my document input type. On top of that, it has extracted all the fields accurately from the sample document that I have.
So it's trying to also guess based on the fields that it has, like that it's a name field, that's a date field, and what is the data type that's out there, right? So it's
Yeah,
trying to do all of that,
yeah.
and PDA is going to then recommend a template for you, right?
Absolutely, the template. And then on top of that, you can obviously go and make a clone of it and modify it based on your requirements, or you can start from custom. So the custom one is where you have documents which are very business specific, right? You can leverage BDA custom blueprint to create specific business level details and extract entities out of it.
Right. So if an enterprise is already doing mortgage processing, they know the document structure, but instead
Yeah,
of starting from scratch, they could upload one of the samples and then start from there. So they have a fast
absolutely.
kind of a turnkey approach to getting started.
Absolutely. Very important point. So they can pick from this list of blueprints that are available, and then they can start processing from here. They don't have to start from the scratch.
Right, right. And I think all our viewers who are watching are probably exploring some of these document processing use cases.
Mhm.
And I can imagine only starting from from scratch and building everything using large language models. I think LLMs are going to help get to a point, but if a tool is out there like something like Bedrock, which has tools like data automation, if it can um, do a whole lot for you, why not use that and get to your end state faster, right?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, double clicking on the problem, when you look at typically an IDP problem or intelligent document processing, there are a number of steps that needs to be done, right? The viewers potentially would understand the complexity we're talking about, the variety of document, type of documents. Each documents have its own density, right? As an example, I can show a treasury statement. If you can see my screen, I was actually running PDA on this. If you see, the document has multiple tables, graphs, outlays, forms, right? And these are the typical document and complexity we are referring to here. So with BDA, it's a simple processing whereby you upload the document, either you create or run against a sample blueprint, and you get the output. And the output provides you with all summarized view and data that you can process.
You're making it appear too easy, Rick. Like, with a very complex document out there, and with all the multimodal content out there, I think if BDA can solve it, I think it's a great thing out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the goal for our team, where we want to simplify BDA and IDP adoption for customers. Because we have been hearing from customers as a feedback that, yes, there are services which helps. And again, customers can choose whether they want to build their own pipeline, manage, maintain it. There are certain segments of customers who would prefer to do that. Absolutely. BDA offers other options whereby it's all fully managed by us. The customer, all they have to do is input the document, select the right blueprint or create it, and extract the output based on a normalized field or extracted data, and then they can write their workflows.
Excellent. I like the approach and the demo as well, right? So making it very simple to do the document processing. So viewers out there, if you have questions on document processing, definitely happy to keep the questions coming. Put them in the chat. We are here to take the questions, and Rick and Lana and Julia are also going to um, answer some of the details there. But with that said, are we moving on to multimodal next?
Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick, for the wonderful demo there. Yeah.
No problem.
Awesome. Thanks, Rick. You just saw the document processing, and then for this session, I will show you the image and the video processing, also supported by Bedrock Knowledge Base and the Bedrock Data Automation. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Let's see. Yep, we could see that.
Awesome. Yeah, so there's a few, this is a demo website. We show how you can extract multiple multimodalities using BDA, Bedrock Data Automation. So we can take a look at one of the example, which is an image. So this one is processed using Bedrock Data Automation. So out of the box, you will get a summary of the image, and also you will get an IAB classification. IAB is an advertising standard category using to serve ads. Right, so for advertising industry, this will be a valuable metadata. Additionally, it can do content moderation, but this image is considered safe, so we don't get anything. And then along with text extraction, right? So for demo, we have this text embedded into it, so it extracted out of the box. So this is a very powerful image understanding extraction solution, so help you to get insights out of the image. So that's how the image result looks like from BDA. And then another one I want to show you, which is video. Video is classically is a more challenging modality to dealing with. Usually when you refer to unstructured data, multimodal, video is what comes into mind. It has usually two dimensions. Typically, one is visual, like what are you seeing? One is audio, like what do you hear? So for this is a sample demo video around 5 minutes, 24 seconds, a fashion show. So out of the box, BDA will give you some metadata like codecs, duration of the video, frame per second, and also it gives you a summary on the video level. It tells you in general what this video is about. And then one feature very popular for the media industry specifically is scene and the chapter analysis. What it does is breaking down the video into logical scenes. Scene is like, for example, you're watching a movie, two person having conversation indoor, and then they go outside, driving on the highway. So that consider two things, right? And or it's a technical interview. We've been talking about different topics. When there is a topic switch, it consider a different thing, right? So that's to how the thing be identified. So there's a logical layer BDA to abstract and analyze the information to come up with a scene definition. So on the scene level, you will get a precise the start time, end time summary on the same level. Additional metadata such as IAB, which is also used for advertising. Shortly, I will show you a little demo how advertising looks like using BDA. Additionally, there's also bounding box highlighting the. There's also bounding box highlight the on the timestamp level, so it will give you the text extracted from the video, and also give you the precise timestamp and the bounding box with a confidence score, so that, which can be a valuable information. Additionally, BDA also give you the audio portion of the information. It will transcribe the whole audio and provide the audio segments with start time, end time, also with speaker identification automatically, right? So you can see it automatically label speaker 0, speaker 1. Optionally, it can do toxicity analysis for the audio. It comes with out of the box predefined toxicity taxonomy, right? So for this video, for this segment, it's safe. It could be highly indexed on certain category. So that's at a glance how the extraction result looks like from BDA for image and audio. So putting them.
So there, I think if you can go back to that video over there, like if you want to go back and show that demo there, maybe even play through that clip and actually let's look at the scene change, I guess, right? So that's kind of where the scenes are changing, like as you can imagine, right? So these are different skins that are flowing in the video within an ad.
Right. Yeah. So about ads is really usually we look at it in this way, right? So this is how media publisher using BDA metadata to serving CTV ads, right? So there's a page mimicking CTV, like you are, as a viewer, I'm watching TV on CTV, like Android TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, Google, LG, etc. And then this is served as nonlinear ads, right? So it overlay on top of the video, and then you can see because EDA already tells me for each thing what are the IAB category, which is used to match the ads from the ad server. So at a certain point of time, for example, now this is real estate, right? So we are serving, this is hobby and interest. So it's serving the hobby interest ads. If you navigate it to the next Q points, let's find a different one, like personal celebration. Right, so this is travel, so this is updated as travel. Right, so that's how a media publisher can using BDA to analyze their video and then monetize their content. Like my husband feel annoyed when he see this ads, right? He's saying too much ads. I don't want to pay subscription, so I see the ads. But for media publisher, this is music in their ear.
Now, when we're talking about these ads, right, so they're actually personalized to a level where it's not like depending on the scene to be
Mhm.
able to put an ad in there. It's more meaningful than me seeing an ad randomly that's coming without any relevance to what is out there, right? So at least these are all very relevant as you're showing here, right? Real estate ad when you're looking at a travel based portion of it. So this is all like makes sense when I'm watching that, at least, like gives a better uh, preference actually out there.
Yeah, now you know how the ads serve to you, right? So
Yeah.
advertising is a little bit a different topic, but usually there's contextual based ads like this. The ads is based on the content itself, combined with first party, right? So because they know your profile, so they serve relevant ads to you. So this is really helping the media publisher to optimize their ad campaign performance. All right, so that's the contextual ads. Additionally, we see a very strong momentum from the integrating with RAG. So this demo quickly showcase the integration with Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases to show you a RAG, retrieval augmented generation integration. Right, so we saw we already have so many multimodality files, documents, images, videos indexed into the vector database using knowledge base, and then I can ask questions. So for example, I'm asking this question: what is the relationship between AI and the data, right? So, and then you can see the answer come back, give me an explanation, because one of the video in this inventory already described, talked about this topic. And so by click on the citation, it navigate me to the video, and not only the video, but also the thing talked about this topic, right? So so it isolated to the same level, utilizing the BDA metadata granularity. So this is a video from our reInvent recording. Swami talk about AI ML in general. So this is where they refer to that. Another one, which is I like to show you as well, is another
So
question.
Lana, before you go to the next one, right? So on that particular video scene, how
Mhm.
much time would it take for us for the for BDA to actually understand what's out there when you supply BDA with the video Obviously, like times could change depending on the length of the video, what's the content, stream, and whether it's the FPS of
Absolutely.
the video as well, right? So there's a lot of factors. But what do you see, like when you input it, is it quick? Does it take time? Does it go back? What happens over there?
Right. So for video processing, usually it's an asynchronous process, right? So because depending on the type of the video, the duration, the size, it can be time consuming, especially for media content. It can be a few hours long movie or documentary videos, right? So in general, we have a ratio saying, for example, 1 hour video will take 30 minutes to process, because under the hood, BDA does a lot of concurrency management. So it's a parallelized process to speed it up.
Hmm.
In the past, we saw a lot of customers, even including myself, build a customized pipeline to manage the video processing, which is very intense from the engineering aspect. Like you sample the frames out of the video and then you analyze each image, you transcribe the audio, you're combining everything, doing further analysis, you manage error handling, discuss disaster recovery, you manage concurrency, right? So with BDA, all the heavy lifting is gone. Just one API call. So that's a beauty.
So when you say there's a single API call, there is like you're creating the template for this word. I mean, in the previous case with intelligent document processing, we saw that we are looking at a blueprint, right? So what happens in the case of videos or multimedia content?
Similar, it's a shared interface. When
Hmm.
you process a little details, right? So when you're processing a video, in the configuration, there's a portion you can define what type of extraction you want to enable for video, right? So and then you can check or uncheck features you need or you do not need. And by GA shortly, video will also support Blueprint, which allow you to customize, like in a prompt engineering style,
Hmm.
customize output on the scene level. So for example, we have customers, they want to classify their thing, saying, I want to classify the thing for rating, for age rating. Is that 14 above? Is that 19 above? Right. So, and then using Blueprint, you can efficiently managing that. In the past, it's a very intense work to do. Now, one API call again.
Talking about simplicity, right? So taking it to the next level, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Super proud. Shared across the team.
Yeah. What's the next use case here?
I might still have time. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Please, yeah. Go
I
ahead.
went a little faster than Euro. Another question. Let's see. So this is a question. What are the different scaling law? What the heck is that, right? So and then it returned me the answer because one of the image in my inventory talk about this. Let's take a look at the image. And this is really, you can see it's a line chart, right? So traditionally, it's very difficult to get a meaningful insights out of this type of graph, right? So you may have an OCR to extract the text, but this one using BDA, it described the image in a very comprehensive way, right? So it really tells you this graph was talking about 3 different scaling law and their relative positions, right? So that's how the chatbot can really answer the question properly. So this is really part of the, actually this image was classified as document by BDA because it considered a line graph, right? So in contract, remember earlier we showed the first image, which is like
Mhm.
a natural image style. This one will be classified as image. So BDA under the hood will classify your input document and then dispatch it to different sub process accordingly.
So it looks like so when it knows that there is document that has text, it classifies and treats it differently than an image,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Because an image could be a document if
Hmm.
it's if it's a chart or graph. It could be just an image, right? A natural object. So BDA does it intelligent for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Which suitable if you have a larger inventory with a mix and match of document type, file type, right? So this can be a very convenient feature.
So
Uh,
for the viewers who are coming in and catching up with the show, we're doing another episode of AWS Show and Tell Generative AI Edition, and we're talking about Amazon Bedrock Data Automation, which is a tool that helps solve a number of use cases, including intelligent document processing, multimedia content analysis, and we're also going to look at the speech portion as well that Julia is going to chat. But Lana is showing us some of the use cases that are built out of BDA, and we're chatting about some of the details here, right? So that's an overview for anybody who's coming in and joining the show. But also the chat is relatively silent today, so keep the chat coming in. Let us know what use case you're trying to solve, or what you would like to hear on the other editions, or if you have any questions for our subject matter experts here, they're ready to help answer any of those as well for you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I can show you one more question since we still have a little bit time, and then I will pass it to Julia. So another question is moderation, right? So you have an inventory of videos. You want to identify if any of them contains unsafe content for quality control or moderation purpose, right? So for example, I'm asking any toxic or unsafe content detected. Give me some explanation indicating a few videos contains certain type of content, and then we can go there and take a look, and also navigate me to the scene where there is unsafe content, right? So for example, in this case, the unsafe content coming from the audio, right? So utilizing the BDA toxicity analysis applied to the audio portion of the video. So, and it identify it is this particular segment, right? It's highly indexed on insult, right? So with a certain confidence score. And also I give you the label, like what type of toxicity label it was identified. And also if you navigate it to another, I think this is a different video. It's the same one. So I click on the same thing, right? So it could be also visual portion of moderation. So for example, nudity, violence, suggestive, those type of thing. Yeah, let me see.
So basically, the query goes back to the backend, and BDA is looking at the vector database, trying to identify the index data for any of these unsafe content in this case.
Yeah, here it is. So this is a visual identify the unsafe content. For demo, we just show a kissing, which is less sensitive for demo, right? So for real world content, it can be much more critical. It can be violence, it can be hate symbols, right? So those type of things, utilizing, this is like text embedding, generate embedding based on the text output from BDA and apply semantic search, which is very efficient.
So it looks like we also get the bounding box along with the response as well, right?
Yeah, so moderation is a classification on the whole level. A bounding box applied to, for example, text extraction, as well as brand and logo detection will be available by GA.
Got it. Got it. Nice. So these are great multimedia content demos, Lana. So why don't we pivot over to Julia to see what Julia is looking to share? Julia, what is that you're presenting today, right? So what are we chatting about?
Yeah, so today we are going to talk about the intelligent speech analytics. So when we talk about the intelligent speech, there are large amount of audio data available. So according to the latest Guardian research, about 80% of the data that needs to be processed are coming from the multimodality. So obviously audio is one part of it. There are several different applications we can think of for the intelligent speech analytics. First of all, there are large number of call centers where the larger volume of calls, it comes with a large quantities. So how to analyze those calls and generate insights, not just about the audio to text, but also about the sentiment analysis, the topic detection, and also some of the call center coaching can also utilize this type of audio analysis. The second use case would be the online education platform. Most of the online education platform will ended up with large amount of audio files, especially for the remote teaching environment. There are active teacher to student one-on-one coaching, and by analyzing the audio content, there could be a teaching plan being generated according to the audio content, and also some of the key points that can be generated from the audio content. I'm sure this many of the students will really like this because they don't have to spend hours of days to study the audio content, but they just need to get the key point, which literally will make it the whole video like a concentrated paragraph instead of several hours of audio itself. The other use case that one of them I'm going to demo today is on the podcast analysis. In terms of the podcast, it's just like the live video streaming we're having today. There is host and there could be several different
Mhm.
guests and then lots of conversation are happening, and obviously the listeners if they want to get some key information out of the podcast, and some of the marketing agencies want to put some relevant advertisement segments into the podcast, then the BDA can be a very useful tool to achieve this type of intelligent speech analytics. So given that, so that's the context about the different use cases for intelligent speech analytics. And we can start on the demo. Okay, great. So in the beginning, this demo, it is actually built by using the user management service from AWS with Cognito. So first of all, you can log into the, no, I'm not forgetting anything. Just one sec, let me do it one more time. Uh, no, I don't want to log in one more time.
So while you're pulling that up, Julia, I think for Rick and Lana, right? So when you're building these use cases with and chatting about them with the customers, uh, you might be looking at say when the customer says, "Say we currently we're spending weeks or weeks to do some document processing," right? So to be able to build the templates, to be able to translate them, even on Lana when you're chatting with your customers on multimedia content. So what are you hearing about Bedrock Data Automation, right? So is it simplifying? What are they saying, right? So let's start with Rick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have hit the nail. Basically, as a feedback, and again, BDA is still under preview. So we are receiving feedback from customers where they are super excited and they're curious to know how we have actually solved this problem, which is very interesting, right? And we are discussing with customers around how it can simplify their workflow from an adoption to scale to even being cost effective, and doing all of that using the responsible AI principle that we have built BDA based on.
And this is even this is probably the earlier versions of BDA, which is having all these capabilities. I can't imagine where we are going to be like a few months to a year from now with a lot of feedback coming in right from the customers.
Yeah.
And Lana, how about on your side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For image and video, we are mainly working with customers have multimodal modality data, for example, from media, advertising, gaming, education, those type of industries where they own larger inventory of videos. They used to own pipelines super complex to maintain, and they feel excited. This is a great approach to simplify the workflow. And
And
also,
to
mhm,
mhm. And to also do it from the single API is like maybe solves it and makes it so easy, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. I see that Julia is sharing her screen now.
Yeah, finally be able to
Okay.
reset my password right at the spot. So now let me first upload a document so we can get started with the workflow. So first of all, what I can do is I can directly just one sec. Uh, yeah, so I just get a audio file so that I can drop the audio file directly to the upload box, and then it will start the process. So let me get audio file selected here, and then it will start the upload process, and then it eventually, once behind the scene, what it does is this audio file, it will be processed by BDA, and eventually after this async process, what it will show is on this home screen, it will show the different process job name and the duration, and also what type of status of the BDA processing look like. And then if I click into one of the finished job, let's just have a
Mhm.
look on how does it look like. So this is a audio analysis of one of the podcast. And then you can see some of the speech metadata. For example, how long the duration is, when does this analysis happen, and the speech details, like what type of analytics we're trying to perform here. We say this is a speech analytics. And I will show what type of analytics usually associated with audio file. And I also show the file format, and for multimedia data, it also shows the audio sampling rate. And then on the right-hand side, that shows one of the special advantage of utilizing BDA. Because of the BDA's advanced speech analytics capability, it can do one thing on the audio. It's called speaker diarization. So what is a speaker diarization is that in the audio file, it is a mixture of different conversations from multiple speakers, and to identify and segment those speaker augments in the past can be a very difficult task, because sometimes the speech augment does not come with a name, as a speaker states his or her name first. So this usually is a hard task to solve for intelligent speech analytics. In this case, BDA is able to use the advanced machine learning capability and identify the speaker and assign the right speech augments to each individual speaker and list the speaker time. So as you can see here, the speaker 0 and 1 actually talked very little, but the speaker 2 talked a lot. This is because it is a podcast from Reinvent Audio. So the speaker 2 is a guest speaker. So that is why he talked quite a lot. The next thing, in terms of the analytics, I think there are a few elements people want to look at besides the audio file itself. So first of all, from the high level, what is this audio file about? So BDA has a unique advantage of utilizing the generative AI capability to generate a quick summary of the audio file. So instead of listening to for this example we're showing here, this audio file contains 40 minutes length of audio file. And then BDA is able to generate around 200 words summary out of it. So this will offer the end user a very quick understanding of what this audio file about. And you can see by reading this quick summary, it explains where this podcast happened, and what are the topics are being discussed. So this is a podcast happening in the AWS Rethink podcast, and the topic of this podcast is about the latest AWS Reinvent 2024 conferences. So what are the latest development of the AI/ML from AWS during reInvent being highlighted? So this is the summary to explain this. And then before I demo another generative AI technology, I just want to quickly show you where this speech summary is generated. So with the BDA, one of the feature of BDA is it is able to provide a direct turn by turn transcript. This is actually very important in terms of the multiple use cases, no matter it is a call center or online teaching platform. Because for a call center, this turn-by-turn QC process is a desperately needed process for most of the call center so they can understand the transcript quality and also understand the whole for some audio files they want to dive deep to understand what is really happening. Is the agent um, able to help the issue in an effective way? Are there any follow-up coaching plans need to be developed based on this turn-by-turn QC process? The other very important aspect for this turn-by-turn transcript is that for the audio profile, for the audio file, there's a particular parameter usually used to measure the audio accuracy. That is called the word error percentage or the word error rate. So
Mhm.
what that does is that any natural language machine learning model, if they perform audio to text machine learning tasks, at the end of the machine learning tasks, how to measure the performance of this audio to text machine learning model. So that is the metrics used to measure the accuracy, which is quite different from the normal this type of classification or regression model. You definitely have a target, very clear target to measure the accuracy. But for the audio to text, the way to measure is to measure how many words were transcribed correctly without any error. So that is called word error rate. So in this case, the for BDA, what it provided is it provides you with a turn-by-turn transcript with clear speaker diarization. So we can probably play some video to let you know, to let you see how this transcript worked and how does the timestamp, accurate timestamp provided by BDA audio can help you to achieve this. So I will just play a very quickly 1 minute video here, audio here. Seconds is
That's
silent.
Welcome to the
And
AWS
then you can
Rethink
see
podcast,
starting from the
here to help
agent,
you
it started to
rethink
have this
your
speech
strategy in the cloud.
part.
I'm your host, Nolan Chen.
And I'm your host, Malini Chatterjee. Today, our guest is Ben Schneider. We are here with him to get a recap of AWS reInvent 2024 that took place earlier this month in Las Vegas.
Yes, welcome, Ben. As some of our listeners may recall, we talked to you last year right after reInvent 2023. We're definitely excited to have you back this year. But for our listeners who may have missed our exciting episode from last year, can you tell us again what your role here is at AWS?
Yeah, so I will stop here. So um, one of the things when I worked with BDA make me feel this product is really easy to use is that as an output of a BDA, it has an audio segment, but on the other hand, it is also be able to combine the relevant audio segments together. So that is that helped the end user quickly to stitch together the fragmented audio segments as something very useful for the downstream application.
Yeah, so in this case, Julia, like when you supplied the audio file and we're able to see the transcript and you used PD, right? So what was involved there, right? Is it a lot of code or is it like again a single API that you're invoking with the
Yeah,
audio file as input? And are we getting all the insights from that?
yeah.
Can we
So
speak to
that
that?
is a really good question. So for BDA, I think both Lana and Rick, we experimented it. One of the things I want to amplify, I want to emphasize here is for BDA, it is a unified API where you just need to call BDA API to start the whole process. In terms of the um, detailed media types, the BDA will use the machine learning model behind the scene to route the most your data to the most appropriate processing workflow. So if it's a video workflow, then it comes with the relevant features most suitable for video, like scene detection, and will also process video and audio separately in a video file. And for audio, same way. For the audio, the most important thing most people are care about is transcript accuracy. So it will provide the turn-by-turn transcript with a summary and content moderation score, just to make sure the audio file doesn't contain well, if the audio file has some toxic content or not, so it can flag. So to process all the different multimodality, it doesn't even require you to classify which type of media this is. And it doesn't just simply use a file extension to distinguish. Because, for example, for document, it can contain multi-type of
Hmm.
unstructured data. It can
Right.
contain imaging, table, and text. So if you just use the extension of the file to do the multimodality data processing, then it cannot clearly separate the different content. But by using BDA, it has an advanced model to do the modality routing, so that saved lots of the first step processing for the data type classification. And that's where I feel really convenient as a developer, so that I can directly get the valuable data and then use that output from BDA to start the generative AI application development.
So it looks like we can put all the multimedia in the same folder and start uploading in BDA intelligently, can
Yeah,
route everything to the right, uh, you know, appropriate blueprint and be able to extract the information out of it.
yeah,
I mean, there's
definitely.
right, right. I mean, there is a lot of. I mean, this particular demo is action packed, and we have a lot of features that we were able to showcase here. But I know that Julia, you probably have one more demo. We are probably getting to the end of the hour, so uh,
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so
what is the demo about, right? So maybe
yeah.
let's even
Okay.
quickly.
So the other demo, it is um, actually about chatting with your transcript. So in many cases, if we can directly start a conversation um, of the yeah, so for many cases in the past, you get the directly transcript or summary. That's a defined destination of your task. But in many cases, you want to have a directly conversation with the audio file itself. Then it approved to be challenging, because the input query is very flexible with no destined answer or destined way to find the answer for the queries. So in this case, what we have for the BDA is that you can directly use the BDA's customer blueprint and also utilizing the generative AI capability of a BDA. So you can directly have a chat with your transcript. You can type in whatever query you want to do in this chat box, and then you can directly chat with find out the information you're interested in this audio transcript, and get
Yeah.
the generate the insight out of it.
Excellent. I think this is a great demo today with a number of showcase that items that we did today across multimedia, intelligent document processing, and speech analytics. Thanks a lot for joining the show today, and we would like to come back for another episode next week at the same time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.